Hey everybody, what's going on? Today we're going to be talking about Darkest Hour, which stars Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill. During the early days of World War II, the fate of Western Europe hangs on the newly appointed British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, who must decide whether to negotiate with Hitler or fight against incredible odds. First things first, let me get this out of the way. This is the third movie that I've seen this year about Dunkirk. First there was the war and love story Their Finest, then there was Christopher Nolan's take on the event in Dunkirk, and lastly Darkest Hour. While I really enjoy and am very interested in movies that are set during World War II, I think I may be a little Dunkirked out, if I can use that as a description for it. Feeling this way caused me to have to take a couple looks at Darkest Hour, not to see if it was a good movie, but to see how good of a movie. I did come to the conclusion that it is a really good movie. That being said, I don't think it probably would have been if the lead wasn't so strong. While this movie is a pretty good political thriller, it is the strength of Gary Oldman's performance as Winston Churchill that really makes it work. Anytime he is on screen, which is the majority of the movie, he commands the attention of the characters on screen and the audience watching the film. I will say that at times he was a bit hard to understand vocally, but so was Winston Churchill. That being said, at times Oldman's voice did sound a bit like Droopy Dog. Then again, so did Winston Churchill. It is hard for me to say that this was one of Gary Oldman's best performances, but that's only because he's had so many. I can say that it is up there with his best ones though. Now, don't think that me propping up Oldman's performance is a knock on a supporting cast. I thought all of them at the very least did a good job. While I'm still not completely sold on Lily James yet, I still thought she played her part well. Kristen Scott Thomas played Clemmy, Churchill's wife. Her character was the strong woman supporting her husband even when he feels all hope is lost. Ben Mendelsohn played King George VI, who was totally against Churchill at first, but came around to support him in the end. Lastly, there was even a somewhat cameo from David Strathairn, who voiced FDR for a phone call between the US President and the Prime Minister. Again, all of the cast, whether big role or small, did very well. While overall the structure of the movie did work for me, I kinda thought maybe there was something missing. While I don't think it was this movie doing anything wrong, I found its sense of urgency when it came to getting the British soldiers out of Dunkirk a little lacking. I honestly have to blame Christopher Nolan for that, because his whole Dunkirk movie was urgency. Still, where Darkest Hour lacked in urgency, it made up for everywhere else. Whether it be the scenes of Churchill challenging his war council, going to the public for advice, his times of despair, or him debating himself on whether or not to give in to Hitler, all of them were pretty strong. You know, the funny thing about seeing three movies about the same subject is that there are parts of all of them that I'd like to see in one big movie. This is what I'd like to see. If Gary Oldman would have been in Nolan's Dunkirk, plus Nolan would have put the parts of Their Finest of the British government making movies to get the United States involved in the war, not the terrible love story though, that would be a movie that I'd really want to check out. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have you seen Darkest Hour? Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. Until next time, I'm Gino Reynolds from The Real Gino.